We'll talk about that localism a little bit later on, because I know you're passionate about being local and being very, very local. Let's talk about the Newcastle Knights and getting to this particular stage. It's very, very close now that you will own a football team. Given that not too many sporting institutions in Australia turn a profit, why does Nathan Tinkler want to get involved with the Newcastle Knights, where it could come at a personal financial hurt at some stage down the track?
Oh yeah, look, there's that sort of hurt, but you know, I think it's. I'd love to see the Knights on the front page of the paper for winning games and that sort of stuff. And unfortunately, too much of the press over the last few years has been about, you know, what sort of disaster is off field, or you know, the financial commitments of the club, or that sort of thing. And you know, that makes it very tough to win. You know, that takes a toll on, you know, everyone, coach, players, management, the whole lot. And you know, I think it doesn't have to be like that. And you know, I'd like to play a role in doing that. You know, I don't have the time or the inclination to run a football club or be involved in a hands-on sort of role. But what I can do is sort of lend a balance sheet to the whole thing to make it run a lot smoother.
You have been a benefactor of the Knights in the past. When did it occur to you that financially they were getting further in the mire and you needed to step in? Yeah,
I guess towards the end of last year it was becoming sort of evident that I was going to have to tip in some cash again and that sort of thing. And I thought, you know, it's a bit of a spiral. You know, I think the Knights have survived for 23 years because of sort of, you know, there's been plenty of guys before myself that have helped out the club, and that sort of gets them to one point, and then you know, they move on, and then somebody else comes along, and you know, that's. Unfortunately, the club's always limping though under that sort of scenario. But you know, whether it was you know, plenty of people, you know, West before me that were good to the club and helped them along, and you can only go on for so long like that if you want to compete and sort of collect premierships. I think you need to be fully funded.
Were there immediate roadblocks from the Newcastle Knights, or were there some indications that yes, they were talking about and would facilitate privatisation if it was the right model?
No, I think we talked about it for you know, a couple of years, I suppose, and probably more seriously the last 6 months. I guess the talks have always been positive. You know, the last few weeks, I suppose, or the last month has been a bit of a challenge. You know, it's like it or not, for me, this is a business decision, and I think I put an offer on the table that I didn't want to argue with people about whether it was good value or not. I think it's insane value, and I wanted the members and the community to see that and say, oh well, geez, you know, he was really doing the right thing by the club here, and that's what I was trying to do. For that then to be challenged, I suppose, was a bit of a pill for me to swallow. But fundamentally, I don't see that the offer's changed. I just see that everyone's sort of let go of the emotional attachment, looked at it for what it is now, and clarity's been provided around certain points, and you know, everybody can see it's a good deal.
Seeing the Knights are a not-for-profit organisation, did you see your first offer of $10 million over 10 years? Is it a realistic offer and a good offer?
Yeah, no, I thought that was a good offer. You know, that was hard cash in, and what we're talking about now is a guarantee of sponsorship to effectively underwrite the club. You know, I think I can bring a little bit more. A little bit more to the club than sponsorship, and you know, I think there's some great corporates here in Newcastle, and some international corporates here too that you know, use Newcastle for a major part of their business, and I'd like to see those participate more in the club.
When you went back and they rejected that first offer, when you went back with another offer, and a massive offer it was, and worst case scenario, $100 million over 10 years, were you surprised that there was still some scepticism from the Newcastle Knights? Oh look, you know, those guys, it wasn't me running off and negotiating by myself. You know, I'd talked to Rob Chew about that, and we'd worked through that, and Rob had got something then that he was happy to talk about and take to the board. I think you know, this was never about you know, sort of colliding and having a head-on collision. We're both, you know, both of us had the best interests of the club at heart, and you know, that's how we've got to where we are today. You seem to want to close the arrangement pretty quickly, possibly with the start of the season in mind. Then you withdrew the offer. Was that a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to them delaying what you thought might have been inevitable? Yeah, no, the withdrawing the offer was really about, I'd sort of pushed as hard as I could, and we were at a stalemate with Rob and Steve and those guys, and it wasn't you know, taking bat and ball and running off. It was
it was my view of saying, look, I've pushed as hard as I can, and we're here now. And if I don't want this to look like some guy that's ego-driven that wants to steamroll his way to ownership of a club. If the members and the community want this, well then, they'll come to the fore now and say, look, we want this to happen. And I'm happy to say that's what happened. Guys like Mark Fitzgibbon and Michael Hill and Michael Hagan and those sort of guys were good enough to sort of good enough to say, well, what's gone wrong? Can we sort this out? And it needed that intermediary for both to take the heat out of the situation, to take the emotion out of it, and just get back to playing at what's for the best for the club.
When the Knights had that press conference on the Monday and then floated the Patrons Trust, was that ammunition enough to say, look, I really want to do something for this town, I need to go back in?
No, not really. If they had decided to go with the Patrons Trust, I was more than happy to. I don't think that's a model that works, but if the members decide they want to go that way, that's fine.
The members had the meeting on Monday and addressed by the board and good consensus and good feeling in the place that this is where we need to go. Are you happy with the situation where we are at this particular stage where it looks as though it is now going to be put to the members and they're going to have their vote?
Yeah, no, look, I'm very happy to see it going to the members. That's who it's all about. The future of the club's in their hands, and I don't see that shifting. Whether they vote yes or no. It's they come on board. It's still a members' club. It's just that they'll have to get used to reading about the Knights being written about for the good things they're doing on the field, not all the other stuff that we've had to endure the last few years.
Do you think everyone understands exactly what you are proposing?
No, I'm not quite sure. I think the things like not-for-profit, my guarantees are going into the club, and that those profits are going to be turned back into things like junior development and facilities and that sort of thing. I don't think that message is really out there. The whole thing about Tinkler will move the club and he can take it here and he'll change the colours and he'll do this. That's not what it's about. Those sort of things are locked away. They're in a vault and they can never be changed. Unless the members want them to change. So it's not driven by me. They're not decisions for me to make. I'm just the schmuck putting the money in.
Well, you put serious money in, but also as a guarantee, you put a substantial amount of money over here in trust. Yeah, that's right. Which can only go back to the members if you decide at some stage to pull out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, do the members, will they have a say? Will they be represented as a group?
No, it's the same as we've done with the soccer club. There'll be a corporate advisory board there that made up of sort of ex-Knights and guys that are close to the club and those sort of people to work with Rick Stone on player retention and all that sort of stuff. And there'll be after 2 years we switch to the members get to vote on a couple of directors that they want to see of the club every year and that sort of thing.
So the members will still have their board.
They'll still get a vote on the directors. Yep.
And two of those members every 2 years will be their nominations.
That's right.